Hey, I'm John Cannell, and today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making some easy, delicious strawberry lemonade bars. So let's get started. First off, set your oven to 350. This is gonna come together so fast. Now, in a large bowl, we're gonna make the crust, starting with 300 grams or 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. There we go. 1 cup of powdered sugar, 120 grams. This recipe, it whips together so fast, and just like all the recipes in Preppy Kitchen Super Easy, it's fast, it's easy, and it's delicious. I always like to add a little bit of extra flavor into my crust, so you have a choice. Leave it plain, add a teaspoon of ground ginger, or half a teaspoon of cardamom. I'm gonna do cardamom today. I can't help myself. I think the cardamom pairs so nicely with any citrus flavor. Just half a teaspoon. To add some balance and let us taste something, half a teaspoon of salt. If you're not adding salt to your desserts, you are getting a flat, sadder flavor. The salt helps you taste. Grab a whisk. Our scale's done, and whisk it up. By the way, if you like my videos, hit that subscribe button. There's 2 new recipes every single week, and they're all delicious. 1 cup or 226 grams of melted butter will bring this all together. It's a delicious shortbread we're making, so just drizzle it in as you move the flour around. This Book Preppy Kitchen Super Easy was made because I have so many friends who just don't have a lot of time, but they still love making food. And even I, who love being in the kitchen, don't have all day to make dinner, lunch, or whatever. So I wanted to make a book of just recipes that were fast and easy, streamlined and delicious, so that you can make time for the moments that matter, which are really like just hanging out with your family and breaking bread over the table. Not just being trapped in the kitchen while you make this elaborate meal. It's just not something you can do every day. Most of us only have 20 minutes to get dinner together. But of course, the book also has lots of desserts too, because I love it. Okay, work this together, and I'm just waiting for all the flour to disappear. It smells so good with the cardamom, by the way. Ginger would be really nice too. This looks good. We have a tiny bit of prep work to do for our pan, so set that aside. You can butter the pan or use baking spray, it doesn't really matter. Grab a piece of parchment paper and just drape it across. This is a sling. Once baked, we can just pull this out really easily. It's like a paper handle. Now I'm gonna crumble the crust into my pan, just so I can get an even layer. It makes it easier instead of having one giant lump fall in your pan. Lemon bars are one of my favorite desserts. I love lemony things, but traditional ones take a little bit more time than a lot of people would like. This version uses the food processor and the whole lemon just to whip it together, and it makes a beautiful, bright filling swirled with strawberry. Finesse this, there's shortbread all over, and now we can start pressing it into a flat layer. And your clean hands do an amazing job at getting this started. You can finish the pressing with a flat-bottomed cup or a measuring cup and just get it into a nice flat layer. It doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure there's no big gaps, because then the filling will soak through and it gets less amazing. My crust is ready to go into the oven 25 minutes at 350 or until it's lightly golden around the edges, and in the meantime, we're gonna make the filling. In you go. So for the curd, grab 2 big, beautiful lemons, and we're gonna just slice the stem ends off, and now cut these into 1/2-inch thick slices. And for this part, you'll do a quick seed patrol. So, I see a seed. Just set that aside, and keep going. Clear seeds. Lemons are sliced up. We're gonna set those aside, and now it's time to work in the food processor. In the bowl of my food processor, I'm adding 2.5 cups of granulated sugar. 1, 2. I swear, baking is the best way to teach whole relationships or fractions. It's also one of the few times you use it in real life. Don't tell my former students I said that. 1/4 cup of cornstarch. This is the magic that's going to give us the lovely velvety texture. It's gonna hold everything together along with the eggs. And I have half a cup of softened butter here. I'm just gonna cut this into small pieces and chuck it in. So in the recipe, I say to cube it, which you could totally do, or you could just cut it into thinner slices and pop it into the food processor. The butter, like the cornstarch, gives you a lovely full set texture, but when you add butter to anything, it changes the way you taste. It's gonna change the mouthfeel. And instead of tasting like just kind of sweet and astringent from the lemons, it's gonna have a lovely like richness to it. We're gonna pulse this for 1 minute. It'll come together pretty quickly. Yeah, it'll form like a wet, sandy texture. If you look inside, very well combined. I don't see any pieces of butter, and it's like really wet sand. Now we're gonna add our lemon slices in. The top goes back on, and we're gonna process this for 1 to 2 minutes or until it's very smooth, and you can scrape the bowl down as needed. This looks really good, but I am gonna scrape the bowl down because I see some lemon bits that got flung up to the top and they're not gonna mix in. Ooh, the texture is so cool. It really is like kind of marmalade-y. And a lot of times for things like lemon curd, you expect that beautiful, vibrant lemon color, but it doesn't actually come from the lemons, it comes from the egg yolks. So just FYI, if you're like, this looks a little pale right now, it's because we haven't added the eggs yet. All right, 1 more minute. So you do want this to be smoother without big chunks of lemon or really any chunks of lemon. So process as needed. Everyone's food processor is a bit different. You might need a little bit more time. You might only need 2 minutes. This texture looks pretty nice to me. It's fairly smooth. So right now we're gonna add our 6 eggs in. The only thing you need to mind are the shells. No shells, please. Even though it's smooth, you're gonna see chunks of lemon all the way through. That's fine. You have 2 choices. Leave them and have kind of like a nice marmalade texture. Like I actually like the play of textures there. If you want it to be totally smooth, we'll push it through a sieve. 6 eggs right in. 1. If you have any shell concerns, crack them into a separate bowl. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Any curd you make is going to have a lot of eggs in there. It gives you that custardy kind of consistency that makes them so enchanting. I also want 1 teaspoon of vanilla. This goes back on, and now we're gonna process this for about 30 seconds or until everything's nice and combined. The eggs mix in really easily. Beautiful. I do like the marmalade texture, but I'm gonna show you the straining steps so you can do it at home. Just pass this through a sieve. Press it through. You'll have to move some of the skin and pith to the side so that the liquid can drain. Silky smooth in the bowl. All the texture is gone. If you wanted to add a little bit of texture in, just take some of this and mix it in. I'm gonna reserve half a cup of this. You'll see why in a moment. This is gonna be the strawberry portion. These strawberry lemonade bars get their flavor from half a cup of strawberry jam. And if you don't like strawberry jam or have another open jar you wanna use your favorite fruit flavoring. Blueberry would be great, raspberry, it's really up to you. I'm also gonna add in half a cup of that reserved lemon filling and just whisk it together until it becomes a beautiful pink slurry. My crust is just warm to the touch at this point, so we can add our lemon filling in. Now we're gonna drizzle the strawberry curd all over the top, just like that. Try to get coverage so every piece will have some strawberry. Use a skewer or a sharp knife just to move it around a bit. My strawberry lemonade bars are ready to go into the oven, 350 for 25 to 30 minutes, or until the center is just barely jiggling. In you go, carefully. Once baked, I allowed my lemon bars to cool in the pan on a wire rack until it was basically room temperature. Then I chilled it for at least 2 hours. You can do it overnight though too. Give it a cut, dust with a little bit of powdered sugar, and just like that, these delicious lemon bars are ready to enjoy. Bright, zingy, they're truly delightful and so easy to make. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe from my book Preppy Kitchen Super Easy, link in the description box below. And if you like my videos, hit that subscribe button and check out my book playlist.